Vegan is the new norm. Welcome to episode 13 of Royce Airs. I hope you all are having a great Wednesday because we are joined here with Zulema Ramos. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic hump day. It's such a beautiful day outside here in good old Central Florida. I hope you've gotten to be able to go outside and check out the weather. If it's not nice where you're at, well, that's why you should be here. Don't you think, Zulema?
I agree.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really appreciate it. Where did you drive from today?
Tampa, downtown.
Downtown Tampa. So now we're connecting Tampa and the Orlando and putting them together and creating episode 13.
Hey.
That's why we're here. Hey, so there's a little ritual thing that I need you to do with me. I was hoping you could do it with me. So here goes nothing. Feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? There. Thank you for not thinking that I'm really, really weird doing that, okay? I had a really different childhood, okay? I went to a school where they taught me that it was perfectly fine to kill, rape, and commodify animals. But we'll talk about all of that later. Let's get to know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 23. I'm a student at the University of Tampa. I live in downtown. I'm an activist for all sorts of social justice causes and just a public advocate for as many marginalized groups as I know of.
That's the way to be, marginalized groups. So pretty much any of the minority groups is okay. What about your vegan journey? Tell us you are vegan, right?
Of course.
Just making sure, because you have to ask.
Yes.
I personally feel that there's going to come a day in society that if you're out at work or wherever it may be, that you can't actually talk about what you ate or your diet, because already I do start to feel some type of way whenever somebody, says, yeah, we have this chicken or this beef or anything, I kind of have to remember who I am, that, I'm a born again vegan, and probably shouldn't have said that, because there's going to be some people like, see, I told you, veganism, it's a religion. That's all right, we'll deal with them whenever we have to. But tell us a little bit about the start of your vegan journey, and just kind of let us know what brought that upon you.
Well, essentially, I had questions since childhood why we were eating animals, because I could tell that the food I was being given by my parents came from the bodies of animals, but they gave me a lot of excuses as to why. And the older I got, the more research I did about those excuses, and found out basically that there's peer-reviewed, well-cited research to show that they don't have grounds. So I changed my behavior. I first went vegetarian when I was at the end of high school, partly because I was being supported by my mom, and she wasn't being very helpful at all, and was threatening to not let me eat and all these different things.
That sounds like a typical melanin family. I've experienced the same stuff.
Yeah. So then I moved out of the house when I went to college, thankfully, and then I went vegan because, of course, once you have the ability, plus it's cheaper. Also, I'm a broke college student, and I often pay less than $20 a week.
Let's rewind, because I get so many people with different questions every day, different comments that, well, I would be vegan, but it's really expensive, so I can't and I won't right now, but maybe later whenever I get money. So you said, can you break that down for us, how you do? You said $20?
Or less.
I actually need to know this secret too, because it doesn't sound like you're buying any of the products that I normally buy.
Well, I still do buy, for instance, one substitute a week, depending. But a lot of it is because I do live in Tampa, there's a lot of local farms and local places where you can volunteer, and you get all this fresh organic produce for free in exchange
Wow.
for volunteering.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like Sweetwater Organic Farm, they're amazing. Zasky Bird Sanctuary, they also, and like I just love to help others. So often when you help others, you get rewarded with
Yes.
free food. Hey. And the cheapest food, like I was saying before, is vegetables, and like shopping local,
For
like
sure.
whatever's in season and available, that's always cheaper. And then like making things kind of like 2 weeks ahead of time. For instance, if I want to make a bunch of burgers, if you get a big bag of beans and you soak them and you just mash them, make them and bake them into burgers and freeze them, like it's so cheap. It's really just planning, and like I'm really fortunate I didn't just think of this by myself. Like there's YouTube channels like Cheap Lazy Vegan, who literally, like me, I'm a cheap lazy vegan. Like, you know, she literally shows you how if you want to like spruce it up, you can do $30 a week. Or there are actually people like Caitlin Shoemaker, who she did a challenge where she did $7 a week, and she got really creative. If you could just like especially if you have access to a phone or something, you know, you can look things up that are really cheap and creative if you have a few minutes.
So it sounds like you're saying that there's no more excuse as far as that veganism is expensive, or that $7, even $20 or $30, because I know a lot of people spend that on one meal. So imagine spreading that out through the week. And even if they still want to go out and eat, you know, once or twice a week, they would still do that and save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just no more excuse as far as...
No.
Wow.
And you exceed your nutrient requirements, because like I used to eat way less when I was almost 200 pounds and eating animal products.
200 pounds?
Yes.
Whoa. How long ago did you lose the weight?
I lost all the weight completely I'd say about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost I'd say the last 30 pounds in the year before that time.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing about the amazing weight loss stories that vegans have to share. And if that's not incentive enough for a lot of people to switch to the lifestyle, I don't really know. I don't know what else they're really looking for other than, you know, the facts that we continue to share. But that's why we're here today. That's why we're here today. So what about your family? Have a lot of them switched over to a good plant-based, organic, vegan lifestyle?
Yeah, my little brother, he went vegetarian, is now transitioning to vegan.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's an athlete and in a bunch of clubs, and he's a high schooler, has a very high-energy lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old is... Okay, high school.
15.
15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
That is awesome. What sports does he play?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be the vegan athlete growing up during adolescence. I just like reiterating these things because it's so funny whenever people come to me and say, hey, well, I can't because either I'm pregnant or, you know, I'm a kid or I'm a bodybuilder. I'm like, no, because I know this person. So now I'm going to start saying, well, I know a 15-year-old soccer player who's vegan, and he would kick your butt.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus, those reasons that you mentioned are all the more, because why would you want to be putting carcinogens into a fetus, for instance, if you were pregnant, or into your muscle tissue if you're a bodybuilder? Don't you want to live clean and eat clean, especially when you're in training?
For sure. For sure. That's awesome that you were able to get your family kind of start, you know, living the lifestyle with you, because I've been vegan now for 2.5 years and I have not had that same luck, but I am very, very hopeful for the future, as I have some cousins that kind of listen in and, you know, they get it, they understand it, and a lot of them are on that path that, well, yeah, one day we'll get there and we'll do it. Yeah, but that one day should be today. It could be today. I'm not going to keep forcing it on you because I don't want you to think of me as that guy. Whenever I first became vegan, I was that ultra passionate, ultra aggressive vegan. Where do you find yourself kind of on that spectrum? Do you feel like you preach too much to people or not enough?
For me, I always feel it out. For me, I always usually present the same amount of facts. It just depends on what aspect I come from. Like, for instance, my mother, she claims to care about other people of color, especially Hispanic people. So I point out, like, the farm workers, injustices, and she definitely eats less animal products than she did before. Hasn't kicked them yet. They are quite addictive. For instance, the queso morphine in dairy.
Yep.
It's literally like low-dose heroin in your body. So
exactly.
And then with for instance, my stepfather, like, he doesn't eat animal products 6 days a week, which is a huge change.
You said your father?
Stepfather.
Stepfather. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's kind of the trend. Amari and I, it's funny. We have our mom and stepdad, both of us. I have mine, she has hers,
mm-hmm.
but ours are not on the level of yours right now. So
yeah, my biological father might go vegan. He is also almost 6 days, because I bought him like this little book, and he's an athlete, and he noticed the less animal products he consumes, the better he feels, and like, you can't refute how you feel.
That is so awesome.
So we'll see.
This makes me so happy to meet other young black vegans who are going through the same struggle as far as with their families, and seeing, you have a few years on me with the whole vegan lifestyle. So wow, yes, this has made me feel a lot better.
Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, it's for sure a process. And I mean, even for instance, like with some males, I've convinced them to either eat less animal products or stop eating animal products because of sexual performance and sexual health.
That's what I always say. I'm like, in fact, whenever I was ultra preachy to people, I would always say, you must not love your girlfriend, or you must not love your fiance, wife, whatever it may be. Oh, then they say, what you mean? Well, it's because, I just thought you wanted to satisfy her fully, because, you don't want any blockages to be down there. Yeah. It's all, blood flow. You don't clog it.
Don't clog your arteries.
Exactly.
There are arteries everywhere.
Exactly. And that would kind of make some of them think like, no, I don't buy it. I don't want to eat grass and styrofoam. I promise you there's a lot more to eat than grass and styrofoam. I guess that... Have you ever had, I don't know, like a banana, a watermelon, tomatoes, peanut butter, grapes? All those things to me are really delicious, but I guess to you that's styrofoam and grapes.
I was like, I love grains, nuts, and seeds, and legumes, and fruits and veggies. There are more non-animal products than like dead animal products to eat.
Exactly.
Physically. Numbers wise, like, I've eaten 12 different types of vegan cheese.
What kind of cheese do you have? I'm like, listen, we don't have the time to go through all of them right now, because you're going to, like, what? How do you have a burger? I'm like, you just got to come out to one of my events.
Honestly.
Yep, that's why I started throwing them. That's why I kind of have my lifestyle set up the way I do. As far as if people have questions, I'm like, just watch me on my show tomorrow, because more than likely we'll address it. Or if, they want to meet other vegan people, or there's no bodybuilding vegan people. I'm like, really? Because I arm wrestled a few, and there's no way. There's like 6 of us trying to take down one guy, and it just doesn't happen. And he would kick your butt too. So you tell him that he's protein deficient. But how do you set up your life? What things are you involved in that kind of uplift that whole vegan lifestyle?
Well, I do quite a few things. Number one would definitely be like signing petitions and calling my Congress members when there's legislation that threatens other species, or if there's positive legislation being forwarded for other species.
Can we rewind that real fast? Because you said you're 23? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're black?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm black and Hispanic.
It's just crazy because, we always try to talk to other young black Americans that, hey, we should get our voice heard politically. Nah. And I was on that train for a while. I didn't really feel that... I did feel like my vote counted, but I personally didn't feel like I was educated enough to actually just go on there and make decisions with the ballots, because I was just taking in a whole bunch of information from people that I only halfway trusted, or that, I saw their lifetime trajectory and I just didn't want to go down that same route. So yeah, I'd stopped for a while politically, but now wanting to get more back involved, and I just think that's awesome that you were doing something like that. I didn't mean to cut you off, so keep on going.
No, not at all. I still appreciate like someone that appreciates that, because no, I definitely feel in the sense that, especially as a person of color, when you understand that this country, like institutionally, is not for your benefit and does not care about you or me as an individual, it can often like be difficult to engage in a system that exploits me purposefully. But anywho, the other main thing that I do for other species essentially is I'm an organizer for Direct Action Everywhere, the Pinellas chapter in particular, and we are actually a platform, not an organization. So essentially we have a website, directactioneverywhere.com, where there are our organizing principles, especially of like non-violence and non-harm, and we essentially do different things from demonstrations to disruptions to thespian performances. And just for some people like that may not know what nonviolent direct action is, it's just simply the use of immediately effective actions, like these demonstrations and vigils and things, to achieve political or social ends. And for us, that's special equality. We want everyone to have equal access to safety, happiness, and freedom, you know, as we all like biologically desire.
Yeah. It's so funny because going back to what you had said about your, you know, your mom had given you different things about, well, these were ideas that the animals, you know, that it's almost their dogma to be eaten. I can't remember if we said that off camera or on camera.
I think it was off.
I think it was off camera. So could you just expound on that point real quick so then I can say this one that I have in reserve?
Yeah. So essentially, because we have this awesome, well-cited, peer-reviewed research in biology, epigenetics, all different types of fields that show that all sentient beings have a biological urge to live.
Yes.
They want to be free from pain, and I would extend it past that because there is other research to show they also experience a lot of so-called human-like emotions, like joy and grief when others that they love suffer. And so essentially knowing that to inflict pain on them when it's unnecessary and when it's for something like animal agriculture, which is harmful to my body, like eating animal products is awful for my body, on top of causing innocent animals unneeded pain.
Yeah.
So
It's bad because that older generation, they kind of said the same things. I heard the same things growing up in school. I went to the same school for my entire life. You know, there was no change in it. And every year, I would kind of think about those same things like, well, does my life matter so much that me killing all these animals to eat and fuel? And I'd have that question, and I would always get the same response that, yeah, you know, as long as you make your life worth it, you know, you just got to keep on doing good and stay prayed up and, you know, read your Bible and you're going to be good. And it was like, nice. Yeah, I feel good now. Let's eat some chicken. Yeah, that's just not cool. That's not cool at all.
I was like, I don't know if you read all of the Bible or all the versions, but especially if you read the Aramaic version, which is the earliest that we have the most of in its original form. There are like about 13 books missing from the time of Constantine when he purposely threw them out. But it comes, especially the language, comes much more from a place of love and empowerment. And in the book of Genesis, it makes it explicit that plants are for our consumption.
Was that Genesis 1:29 that it talks about, you know, he gives us the seeds that will bear fruit? I think it's literally Genesis 1:29 that, I could be wrong. Somebody, you know, can probably cite me later and go like, ha, Royce, you're an idiot. But
yeah. It's in Genesis.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, no, and like honestly, one of the things that the reason also that I'm directly involved with direct action, because I'm inspired, for instance, by nonviolent leaders like Martin Luther King.
For sure.
And in his own words, this is a quote from him: Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and fosters such a tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue.
For sure.
And it's like when all of these animals are put behind closed doors in these factory farms, how else are we to intercede on their behalf and fight for their freedom unless we're going directly into the public and also into institutions to make change?
Martin Luther King, he was ahead of his time, and I really feel that if he was here today, that he'd be on the vegan lifestyle. It matches up with his morals. But Genesis 1:29, according to the New International Version, says, "Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food." But if you want to take it also to the amended version, Genesis 1:29, A-dairy, it says you can also take any animals and slaughter them as well because God would like that too. Thank you, Constant. I appreciate you looking that up for me. No, it doesn't really have that. But that's what some people would say. Well, they'll reference them to the other, like later after humans are no longer in the Garden of Eden. Mm-hmm. And, well, see, now he says it's okay. Like, yeah, the whole thing is kind of messed up now.
I'd rather live like they did in the garden. I'm good on chaos.
Exactly what he, purposed for. I don't know. It's just, that's a difficult one to argue.
Especially this whole, paleo trend. It's like if you sincerely want to be paleo, then eat plants. Like, we foraged first and we ate animals later. We have way too much proof of that. We were smart enough to do all the things that are required to kill an animal, most likely because of survival in really cold, isolated environments, which we are not in. We are in Florida.
You are in Florida. Oh, but how? Yeah, no. That's another reason why I like this podcast, because not only do I bring vegans on, we have some non-vegans that are, I don't like to call people non-vegan, honestly, because one day you're going to have to make that decision, and it'd be in your best interest and the world's best interest, and just, to be on the right side of history. That's always a good way that I like to kind of share it with people.
Why not be kind when you could be kind? Just why not?
It's violence versus non-violence. Which do you think Genesis 1:29 would agree with more? Yeah. But it's all good. Yeah. What other groups or activism do you do as far as in your life to kind of help spread the message?
Also, another group that's wonderful is Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we do Cube of Truths. I do them the most with the Clearwater chapter, which is on Facebook, as well as the DXE Pinellas chapter I just spoke of. We're on Facebook if anyone wants to join. Also, the Earthling Experience, which is similar to Anonymous for the Voiceless, but they just play different footage. They actually play the Earthlings movie.
Gotcha.
And so in both of them, it's 4 people back to back in masks holding slaughterhouse footage on computers. And the point of that is to, one, not focus on their identity, but focus on what's happening to the animals. And then you have 2 people or a couple people that are outside of the cube that when others have questions, and mind you, if you're under 18, you have to have your parents' permission to watch, so we are child friendly. And we just show, this is what we're paying for as consumers, and if this is not the type of behavior that you would like to exist in this world, if this isn't the type of violence, if this isn't the type of world you want to create, where other species who have done nothing are being murdered for no reason.
Exactly. I do like the whole Cube of Truth. We have a chapter here in Orlando, and actually, the first person we ever interviewed on this show, Kayla, she kind of helps run the whole...
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done a lot of activism with Kayla.
Their family is on it. It makes... Me and Amari and I will look and just be like, we're going to get on that level. We do it in our own ways, our own different forms, and that's the one thing I really like about just this whole vegan community is that there are some of those that will be out on the streets and, you know, just getting people. The thing I like about my events personally is that it kind of, the veg curious people who don't really want to get attacked, we just kind of say, yeah, come on in, and we don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I don't even, it kills me, I won't lie. You know, whenever they do have questions, I keep it very, very brief because I really just kind of like selling them on the food first. Some people say that's not the tactic you should go, but it's worked for us.
Yeah, do whatever works.
Because later they come back and actually get the information whenever we can just kind of have a brief sit down one-on-one with people. I don't like to publicly, you know, seem like I'm attacking them in front of their friends because then, you know, the walls go up, and just want to kind of like, okay, you like me as a person
Social
now.
norms kick in.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that point that she had brought up about the masculine guys just, for whatever reason, you know, they just act like they can't receive the vegan message, that maybe it'll put them in some kind of box or something.
Oh, well, because, I mean, in this country, and don't believe me, believe historians and sociologists and psychologists and well-cited scholars that have spent their lives doing research on gender norms, especially hypermasculinity. But in this country, it manifests in lots of different, very harmful ways. But one of them especially is refuting the vegan message often, in the sense that it's like, if I, as a male, am not dominating the bodies of lesser, usually both females and female presenters as well as other species, then I'm not fulfilling my role as a man. And that's in no way true, especially considering the vast history we have of wonderful fathers and male caretakers of all species whose manhood was defined by kindness and compassion. And if you would, you know, if you still want to fulfill even like stereotypical hypermasculine roles, what's more dominating, I guess, in the sense, but in a way that could be construed as positive, than refuting overarching systems of capitalism that want you to harm your health and exploit the bodies of these animals. You are literally, as an individual, fighting an entire system of oppression every time you eat a meal and it's vegan.
Yeah.
You know, what's more manly than that? Like,
that's a really good point. That's one of the guys who works with us as far as NOOR 17, Mr. Michael. He's like 6'3", just huge and jacked baseball player. And he's been vegan forever, it feels like, since he was really little, in school. But people, even in school growing up, they would say, you know, well, how are you going to get big and strong, you know, not eating meat? But he's usually the biggest and the strongest. Like, this man, I look at some of his pictures, I look at him in real life, I'm just like, why are your arms so big? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you know, but the strongest man in the world right now, which is determined by like the dead log lifting competition, he's German, he's vegan. The last only Olympic weightlifter who won in this country, who was black, also vegan. Like, it's all of the top bodybuilders as well as just some top athletes in all these different fields are vegan, and they're exceeding and excelling without having to use like stimulants and pharmaceuticals.
Serena Williams, I heard that she was vegan as well too. Oh, both of them.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, both of them are vegan now.
Yeah, there's no more excuse.
What, DJ Khaled, there's all these football players who are like 300 pounds.
And they're doing just fine. And that's why I'm ready now. I say it all the time, like, yeah, I'm going to start working out. Because normally whenever I start talking to people about being vegan, they'll look at me like, Royce, yeah, you know, but you're slim, you know, you look good, but, you know, I'm trying to keep my big chest, or, you know, everything. I promise you that's not going to go away, all because you stop eating and harming animals. That's not the way this works. I know a lot of large vegans, and you know, it's just kind of, what is your body? How's it going to respond?
Yeah.
It's going to respond positively.
I have a small frame.
Yeah.
Like, look at my wrist.
It's like, I have a very small frame.
What do you want?
That's what I try to tell them. But
everybody's different. Plus,
For
where does
sure.
all protein come from? Plants. You are literally filtering nutrients through the bodies of dead animals and getting like 10%.
like, cut the middleman.
Cut the middleman. Eat directly. Just direct.
That's what I always try to tell them.
Nutrients. Yay. Oh, but yeah,
Yes.
actually, I have one little shout out if you didn't mind horribly.
Go for it.
So, as I mentioned before, Direct Action Everywhere, I'm one of the organizers for the Pinellas chapter in Florida. And we right now, like overall, actually have an anonymous donor for the entire month of May, who for every person that signs up as a monthly donor in this during this month, they will match $100.
Wow.
Yes, and this is on directactioneverywhere.com. And if you would like your donation to go directly to our chapter, all you have to do is email Almira, ALMIRA, at directactioneverywhere.com, or if you'd like it to be spread equally through chapters, then you can just donate directly on the website and not specify. Totally fine. It all helps rescued animals. And if you spend over $45 every month, you become part of DXC's Open Rescue Network. And that means that all the animals that are rescued from all these horrible conditions, and after they are healed and well and happy and free, you can have direct access to them that others might not, especially considering that we don't want to overexpose the animals, obviously, after
For sure.
they've already dealt with
A
enough.
lot already.
Yes, but all the money goes directly to helping rescued animals.
Hey, do it. Do it for the animals. And I told you that this time was going to fly by with us today. We are all out of time.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course, yeah.
And I thank all of you for coming and join us and tune in with us. It really means a lot to me each and every single day having you all here with us. I look forward to this time, and I hope that you do as well. If you want to get involved in more way, if you want to become interviewed, or if you want to sponsor, please message our @RoyceAirs17 Facebook page. You can also find us now on SoundCloud. I'm a SoundCloud rapper. You didn't even know. And go make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube as well. Follow us on Instagram. All the other good things as well. Thank you so much for being with us here today, and best believe we look forward to seeing you soon. Royce Ashcroft out.